And I did miss my exit point. Like I say, sometimes you do have to disappear for all the right reasons before you are disappeared for 7 wrong reasons. And the Lord Jesus Christ did say, Johnny, I've seen the wrong that you have suffered, and I will deliver you from the jaws of death, the trap that they have set for you. So when those people in high places set a big trap, the jaws of death, and the Lord Jesus Christ can certainly deliver you from Satan and the fallen's eternal jigsaw trap that is set for you, And also in the past, Tony Wright, who was the inspector at Thetford, after I had walked into a big police trap, was denied, though under arrest. They broke every Home Office guideline for a person under arrest. I was denied a phone call, a solicitor of my choice, Simon Nichols from Belmore Solicitors in Norwich. I had seen him in action. He weren't frightened to take on the police or the authorities. I was told no duty solicitor was available. Then they fabricated evidence, made evidence disappear. A folder with 27 written death threats full of Porky Pie's serial killer lies. Some were written on police notebook paper, which came out later, had been put through the door, and like a kind of phone booth, turn the pressure up type frame fix assassination. And like I say, Tony Wright did bring in 2 inspectors from Scotland Yard who I was interviewed with, Brian Goodman, and they hadn't been brought in to investigate me. They'd been brought in to investigate Inspector Numbnuts Bunton, Mr. Fixer, and this police. And after the incident with the 11 police officers, were outside the court when all charges were dropped, as when they found out I'd got a witness who could prove that their statements were false, they dropped all charges. 11 police officers and their barrister at the court at Thetford, on a 2-day trial. Special judge brought in, and I was free to go because I could prove that their statements were false and they were lying. And had that man not been in that shop doorway, I would have gone to prison for 6 to 12 months on fabricated evidence. And that's where it's all wrong, because who's gonna believe who? Who's gonna believe me against 11 police officers all saying exactly the same thing, even though it was a big monster lie, fabricated evidence. And then, as I say, I was framed and detained in maximum security, solitary confinement, forced drugged, 3 lots of different drugs, and then another 2 lots of drugs, so 5 lots of drugs. The other 2 lots were to counteract all the side effects from the 3 lots of drugs. So you're forced drugged, you're interviewed in this condition, and I thought they were trying to kill me because my heart sped up to twice the normal rate. I thought they were trying to stop my heart, and then they could put in their Norfolk Bacon SS minority report that I died of a natural causes, a heart attack. And that weren't the staff, all the doctors or the nurses that raised the alarm in Dr. Death's black SS pigsty full of mad monster lies, bogus diagnosis and lethal injections. That was the dinner ladies. So they had to stop. Once the drugs wore off, then I was able to escape. And they put more bogus diagnoses on me than on any serial killer, paedophile, rapist, ripper, black wizard, terrorist, shooter, mass murderer you can mention, past or present. And what was my crime? A bit of graffiti. 18 black Zeds in this, marking up the big Freemason Fraternal 666 serial killer frame in discs. I never had £21,000 to clear my name. I'd spoke to Rowland's solicitors. Mr. Rowlands, who later became a judge, said, Johnny, you got a very good case of character assassination. Not about money, just to clear my name, because if people can destroy your good name, they can destroy your life. But he said, we'd be glad to represent you, but you're looking at £21,000, so that wasn't an option. 2 tins of aerosol cost us £5.40, so we marked this up. This post office had the biggest black said. That was to push their big monster serial killer, Fred West, Sutcliffe, monster serial killer frame out into the public domain. And that did get in this Express and used as said, not because I think I'm Zorro, But I had gone to Africa, the killing fields there, Rwanda, to Kenya, Kisumu, just across the lake from Rwanda. Genocide on the horizon, because Jaffa and his Yardie gang had threatened to burn my mother alive in her car the next time they saw her, which was a real evil saw trap. God confirmed I was to go, and to go urgently, not one single penny from anybody. And I certainly was not on a DC3 HOPE Church Now in Dis, or Royal Mail Postie Assassins, Dis SS Police, Dis Mason Council Luxury Holiday in the Sun, having sex with black hookers, grooming young girls and abusing children, all paid for by churches and the people of Dis. That was just a big monster lie. No Oxfam sex scandal here. And if those big monster lies had been true, which they weren't, then I would have served at least 18 months for a 3-year sentence according to Dis Police. And then later on, the IPCC took up my case, and they even used the word framed. And it's unusual for a government department or an institute to use the word framed, or conspiracy, or lie. Even though it only takes 2 people to conspire to make a conspiracy. They conspired against Jesus, how they could destroy and kill him. The Apostle Paul, 40 men took a vow they would not eat until the Apostle Paul was dead. So he had to go in a basket over the wall, because they were watching the city streets, the city gates, and he became aware of that conspiracy. And when you're surrounded by assassins in this Norfolk, UK, even further afield in high places, who want you done in or locked up, all full of mad monster lies and bogus diagnosis, but that's all to cover up their frames and fixes, their royal Sandringham mistake, New Year's Day fine, Jack the Ripper crime, and certainly not mine. And Mandy Lindon was backing me 100%, the Independent Police Complaints Commission, and said Johnny will blow this police cover up right out of the water. She knew I was telling the truth. And so it went before Stuart Craig at the Unprofessional Police Cover-Ups Department at Norfolk Bacon SS Police Plebs Headquarters at Wyndham. Now Stuart Craig would not even register the complaint. Again, it wasn't about money, just rattling their big Black Panther serial killer cage. And what was the complaint? They'd broken every Home Office guideline for a person under arrest. Like I say, denied a phone call, solicitor of my choice, told no duty solicitor was available, because they knew if I had a phone call and solicitor, the only place I'd be going was home. I could run circles around their big monster serial killer frame, and they had a whole different agenda. They couldn't spring their saw trap and send me to the Norfolk Bacon SS Pork Farm, Dr. Death's Black SS Pigsty, if I had a solicitor. They'd fabricated evidence, saying that I was mad, deranged, insane, demon-possessed, dangerous serial killer. It's just a big monster bluff, big porky pie serial killer lie. Even Johnny Holmes, the psychiatric nurse that I had while I was framed and detained, he spoke up for me. He said, Johnny Botwright, it's nothing like the police have made him out to be. He wanted me, detained indefinitely. And there was a letter sent by Peacock, signed by Inspector Numbnuts Bunton, Mr. Fixer, who claimed that all this happened after he was retired. It was just big blatant lies from a police inspector, all covered up, by Norfolk Police Headquarters. And even my Steve Wright to appeal was blocked, because too many big names were going to come out of this black hat. And Mandy Lindon, who was backing me 100%, she was disappeared too. And I could only get hold of Helen Anderson. She said, no, your case is closed down. That's it. It's been stopped. And then it came out how the IPCC were covering up big Freemason crimes, with all the sexual abuse. It was also covered up by the royal family. The Senator of Jersey said, the royal family were complicit in covering up all the child abuse in the children's homes throughout the UK. The Parliament one was all covered up. 114 files went missing. So that's the one. High crimes. God bless.